Well, you may have seen my guest recently in a mall or a magazine. Tressa Lemky has been a professional print and runway model for over 30 years. She's currently the Nygaard 10J model for Canada and the United States. The former Miss Manitoba is the creator of BioGW, Beautiful Inside and Out, God's Way. I love that. It's an expression of her passion to see women and girls reach their full potential. Tressa lives in Winnipeg, Manitoba with her husband Ron and daughter Samantha. And I can't say Manitoba without just a little bit of tightening. Have you experienced the flooding at all?
Not me personally, but I mean, it's bad. And it's been one of those things where if you're not affected, you have to sometimes force yourself to realize there's people in need. And I was saying to you before we got on air that I appreciate that Huntley Street was so aware of what was going on, because I was watching one morning and I quickly realized how bad it really was, because it was you that said about the homes and the potential of 150 homes. So then I went online and started to look, and anyway, it is really bad. You know, the rain weather has not been great, so things haven't been drying up, but people are praying, and we're, you know, excited to hear that those 150 homes have not been. That's amazing.
Isn't that
I had no idea. That's awesome.
So, let's hope for more good news.
Amen. Amen.
Well, we are going to be talking about fashion, and I wanted your feedback. Jim's not here, so I can ask.
Yes.
The royal wedding. You brought us some tea here,
I did,
commemorating the special couple coming to Canada next month.
When I saw how much you were ribbing him and he was going back and forth, I loved it. I was laughing in my kitchen, and I thought, I have to do something. So I had to bring some tea, and then I decided to bring you a gift this morning. I'm all into gift giving, but this one's a fun, well, I just, you know, it's my love language, right? But if you notice, I have this lovely little ring on my,
oh, there's the Diana moment.
Yes,
now the
exactly.
Princess Catherine.
Yes. Now, my husband doesn't realize he's bought this for me for my anniversary, but you have, honey, so it's all good. Just
do you
for
suppose
fun.
he's watching?
Oh, yeah, he knows. I told him. But I bought you one, too.
Oh,
so give me your finger. I mean, I emailed you and asked you what size your finger was.
Well, there was my hint, but who would have thought it would be royal?
It's just fun.
Oh, my.
See, I met Lady Diana and Charles way back in 1983.
You did?
I did, when I was Queen Annapolisa, which is a pageant in Nova Scotia.
One of your titles.
Yes, and the Baron de Rothschild came over from England to crown the winner. And so because of that pageant, I was invited to Government House. So I think because it was William and she was in Canada during his birthday, his first birthday, I've always kind of watched more William and the boy, you know, and Harry. So anyway, it was fun. I was all into it. I baked scones and stayed up all night like a crazy girl.
Oh, you're a girl too. And
oh, it was so much fun.
Don't you enjoy being a girl?
Well, I do. I do. And some people think we're crazy, but we had fun.
Well, now, before we leave the royal wedding, this is just too cool. Didn't you love the hats, the fascinators?
Oh my, and the fascinators. I love them.
Well,
love them.
Perhaps, certainly one of the most commented on was Princess Beatrice's hat.
Yes.
And it has been likened to many things. How did it strike you, Tressa?
Well, I said it reminds me of something that one of the characters from The Grinch That Stole Christmas, one of the Who's down in Whoville.
Oh, a Whoville hat.
I don't know why. Well, maybe it's just because it looks, I don't know. But, you know, I will say that I really loved her shoes and her coat. And the hat, I'm just on the fence. But here's the thing, she's certainly getting coverage about it. It's the most fascinating.
It is quite fascinating. and was that a fascinator or a hat?
No, a fascinator. Oh, you know, I guess it would be.
It's kind of marginal.
Well, that's why. It doesn't know what it is. None of us do.
It's still trying. But guess what? Here's the best news.
Okay.
At this moment, it has raised on eBay £20,200 for charity.
Goodness.
So,
that's wonderful.
Fashion can be powerful in more ways than one.
Oh, that's awesome. No, I didn't know that.
But you're here.
I am.
Because there's a tsunami of pressure. Especially on the girls. I mean, we're focusing mostly on the girls here today.
Women in general, though.
Yeah.
I think we underestimate it's not just the teenage girls, because they're getting messages from women too. So I think it's women in general. But you're right. But you mean females and
this morning, a cereal commercial said, "Summer's coming. You're going to want to wear less and show more."
Is that what it said?
That's the cereal commercial.
Okay. Yes. Well, you know what, that comment, if I can say, I'm going to read this because this is one of those ones you don't want to get the words twisted wrong or it doesn't come across. First of all, modeling modesty is my sort of title of the message, you know, for BioGW when it comes to that session, because it matters for you, for others, and for ultimately him. But this statement here, never in the history of fashion, and this isn't mine, by the way, I got this from a church leader, but never in the history of fashion has so little material been raised so high or dropped so low to reveal so much that needs to be covered so badly and costs so much. The last line's mine. But isn't that true?
Yeah.
I mean, really, like
Yeah.
it's just, it's everywhere. It's not just, you know, in the malls, but it's at the workplace. It's in our schools.
I was shocked. American Idol last week. I will choose
know.
not to mention the pop
Right.
star. I don't think I need to.
No.
On a piano, all over a piano bench in her underwear.
Yeah.
And it was probably really expensive, that little bit
Probably
of
quite.
fabric she was wearing. It's so acceptable.
No, and that's the thing. It's everywhere in our culture, but of course, you know, it's also infiltrating our churches subtly. And that's, you know, a woman can dress however she wants, right? We have the right to do, supposedly. But when we are a Christ-centered woman, I think we have someone else to answer to in a submissive, teachable heart way, if you will.
I pulled out that word modesty.
Yes.
With a little trepidation, because
Okay.
it just sounds counterculture.
Well, yeah,
it
'cause
sounds
you think it's frumpy.
out of time.
Right.
Out of this time.
Right, right.
Definitely suitable for the Victorian age.
Right.
But I think we need to understand this isn't just a style thing. What does this do to people who are trying to live rightly?
Well, see, I've always said that we are responsible for what people look at. So, for instance, if I'm in a room with, you know, men and women, and let's say I met your husband, he might, well, he does. He loves you. He loves the Lord. He wants to honor you. He doesn't choose to go on sites that he shouldn't. But if I walk into his space as a Christian woman, and I am dressed in a way that draws undue attention to the private, alluring parts of my body that are only there for my husband, or like, as you know, the 3 Bs, right? The bedroom, the bathroom, and your bottom are for the bed, or pardon me.
I love that.
Your 3 Bs are for the bedroom and the bathroom, your bust, your belly, and your bottom, right? Okay, but anyway.
Isn't that cute? I love that.
Who is responsible for what your husband is looking at? He isn't, I am. Before God, I'm the one that's made that choice to walk in with a low shirt showing cleavage, or a really short skirt, or, you know, sitting in a way that is trying to draw attention to myself. So women have to start realizing that they are accountable to the Lord, but they are responsible.
Jesus says if a man looks at a woman lustfully, he's committed adultery.
Right.
And if the woman who's seeking to please God is a walking billboard for look at me inappropriately, is that not a problem?
And I mean, someone could say, well, you know, they can look at me no matter what I'm wearing. Yes, of course they can. But we all know that depending on what the picture is, it will either take you down a road really, really bad, right? Or it's going to be, I mean, a man can look at a woman and look at all the parts no matter what she's wearing. I get that. I'm not trying to say you can't. But I still don't want to be the real reason why someone stumbles.
And I don't think women are being educated
I
about
don't-
men.
no, I
Men
don't-
are visual.
They really are.
They're,
and
they're
we're like,
starting
duh,
a
you know.
firestorm.
Right. And I mean, there's times in my life when I've been certainly a Christian woman and I wasn't aware that I was wearing something, and we become aware. So then what happens is we become accountable then. You see, if you're ignorant of something and you don't know that you don't know that you don't know, okay, fine. But then when you do know, then all of a sudden you do know, and then guess what? The whole system changes. So when you go to your closet in the morning and you're trying to choose your outfit, when I go to church, I'm always aware of what I'm wearing. I'm always aware of how it's being worn for where I'm going. As an example, if I'm working on an event, if I'm doing a wedding, or I'm doing coordinating a fashion show, whatever it is, and I know that I'm going to be constantly bending down, picking stuff up, I have to be in something that moves with me and stays with me.